All right, we're live.
How exciting. Hi, Ben.
Hey, Jenna. Hey, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to our April Outturn preview tasting, digitized version.
Yes, since we can't all be with you in person, we had to figure out the next best thing, and that is to do it digitally. So tonight, wherever it is in the world you are, we're going to go over some of the whiskeys that are coming out tomorrow for our Outturn. So I think we have five.
Yeah, I think we have five whiskeys. I mean, the Outturn is obviously
much bigger.
I don't know how many we're gonna have. I think usually over the course of a month we'll have around 20-ish.
I think there's about 20 in there.
Yeah, so it's a nice, for me, I mean, it's 4 p.m. my time, 2 p.m. your time, so it's not evening.
2 o'clock.
It's like that Monday afternoon. Or is it too early to drink whiskey, or is it not? Like, I mean, can we get away with it, kind of thing?
I mean, we're quarantined, so is there a right or wrong time to start? I don't know. It's like the airport. You can have a drink at 9 a.m., I guess.
Yeah. So, well, good to see everyone here, too. Whiskey Throttle's here. Hey, Whiskey Throttle. Whiskey Entitled's back. Jason Coates, good to see you again. Zero Page X, so excited. I've missed these preview videos. Well, welcome back. Karen from DC, welcome. Santa Cruz, good to see you. Howdy. Olaf, Christine, wow. Keith, everybody's in. Yeah. So we got to get full crowd, but anyway, Jenna, kick it off. So
I'm actually, there are a few whiskeys in this Outturn that I'm really excited for. And we're actually going to go over a few of those today. So should we just kind of jump into it, or?
Yeah, I think just for clarity too. So these whiskeys are all coming out tomorrow officially, in the U.S. And so this is the U.S. Outturn selection for the month of April. 1 p.m. Eastern time is the time that they're released. And I say that now because now I think just a lot of attention turned to the whiskey, especially when we're all stuck at home, and obviously the society makes whiskey available to your home. So 1 p.m. Eastern is the time. I haven't tasted. Have you tasted any of these? I've tasted a couple.
So I have tasted what we're tasting today. Actually, no, these are going to be the ones that we're previewing today. I've not tasted yet. So this will be my first time tasting any of these, which is very exciting because when I do Outturn preview tasting in person, I do the same thing. I don't taste the whiskeys until I'm there, and we can taste them blind with everyone. Obviously, this is a little different. But yeah, I'm tasting these for the first time. So
yeah, I think I did one. I like to do these for the first time in front of, like when we do our events, I like to do them for the first time there. I mean, it would be easy to sort of just prepare. And sometimes I guess I'd like to do that as well, but there's nothing like tasting something for the first time with no expectations whatsoever and just giving a live reaction. And hopefully, for everybody, for you guys watching, that's helpful for you. When tomorrow the Outturn comes out, you at least will hear our sort of firsthand opinions in real time.
Yes. So we can't taste these blind. I guess we kind of know what we're drinking this time. But let's start it off so we can kind of go through these and answer any questions that any of you guys have out there. Ben and I are happy to answer them. So, all right, first up.
Go for it. Yeah, where are we starting?
All right, so let's start with 6.34, which is Boundless Intemperance, and that is in the light and delicate flavor profile.
So
I'm ready.
Intemperance 6.34. So first of all, cheers, Jenna. First dram of the day.
There's so many. Who else is here? Let's give a good big cheers to everyone. Tom Smith is here.
Tom Smith. Oh,
hi, Tom.
Hey, Tom. Let's drink whiskey. I love that one. Hey, folks. Zach is here. Hey, Zach.
Hey, Zach. Neil, all the way from the UK.
Hi, hey, mate. He said, "Hi, guys." I think that's a very un-British greeting, but I take that. Zach says, "Loving the playoff beard." It's actually COVID beard, but okay, appreciate that. It's been a couple days, so
yeah. All right, let's get into this.
Here's everybody. Thanks for joining us. And comment below. Let us know what you're drinking. Obviously, it's not these whiskeys yet, but cheers. So
yes, and if you have any questions about any of these along the way, please chime in, and we will do our best to answer them. So I haven't tasted it yet, but on the nose.
Oh, sorry. I do that again.
Just a step. So definitely light and delicate.
Ooh.
Okay, now I have to taste it.
Sorry. It was a long day, and I was waiting for that first whiskey. You know.
Ooh, that nose and palate don't match on this.
What do you think?
Palate is explosive. Oh, give me a second. Gotta wet my palate.
So light and delicate is not, you know, it's not a flavor profile we see that often within our Outturn selections. There are a few out there, and I'm just speculating based on sort of just memory here, but maybe once a month, maybe not even one a month. You know, we've gone some months without a light and delicate, and I think I don't usually love the light and delicate style of whiskey, but when it's at cask strength, you can have a full delivery, like a very intense whiskey with sort of lighter flavors. I think that balance is just something unique to single cask that I've really come to appreciate. So,
well, and this one's at 58.6%. But I guess that might have just been the first sip. I'm gonna taste it again just to kind of see if I'm getting the same intensity. But it felt higher than 58.6. Like this was for a light and delicate whiskey. This is pretty. I mean, this is pretty forward.
I mean, like lighting is obviously kind of varies. Full disclosure, this is not my natural face. I have this big ring light, and Jen and I both have these lightings, but this is the color here. So, you know, all natural color, kind of like a golden ale, I would say.
Yeah, that's lemonade.
It doesn't taste like Bud Light, but it does look.
Yes, for the light and delicate flavor profile, this really is. I can't think of a better word for it. I'm getting a lot of like light baking notes, like pastry notes. It's super creamy, great mouthfeel, which is important. But a lot of like lemon pound cakey, just.
Oh man.
Yeah, warm, bready, but it has like a tang to it. There's like and that could be lemon. There's like a nice lemon citrus like bite to this at the end. So it's super creamy, super pastry forward. And then you get like that little jolt of just like citrus zing on the tip of your tongue. It's this is fun. This is a great one to start with.
Yeah, it's I think it's misleading, you know, with this the light. The light and delicate is misleading because there's so much here. Sometimes when you think of that style, you think of something that's sort of just straightforward, lacking complexity. For me, as you were kind of naming off those tasting notes, they kept coming up on my palate. That lemon, sort of that lemon oil, is really prevalent.
Yeah, lemon oil.
But it's like it's all well balanced, and I just think it's I think, you know, the texture is brilliant. It's really spot on for me.
I was not from the nose. I wasn't expecting this to be as just bright on the palate. I thought it was going to be a little more calm, but it's not. It's a little erratic on my palate, and I love that. So I love that this is kind of a surprise that going into it, you know, had expectations of it being much lighter and gentle, and then it's just. So yeah, this is a fun one. I'm really impressed by this.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I am too. Of course, you guys probably expect that. You know, but the whole point of not tasting these before, these are honest, sort of in real time impressions. I think it's phenomenal. It's for what it is, like that style, 12-year-old light, classic Speyside.
Classic Speyside.
Bright in your face, like a ton of character. And just to show you guys how off the cuff this is, we actually weren't going to taste this one in the lineup. We added this about 15 minutes ago. Well, let's just add this one to start. And we had no idea. We just nosed it. And yeah, so super excited for that.
These are genuine, just in the moment kind of tasting notes. So yeah, this is fun. So did you add water?
You know, I did. And I think it really helps it out a lot. Like it was, obviously it's not as intense. But it's the complexity of flavors has really evolved nicely, you know. And so as you were like when you were describing those tasting notes from just the neat pour, I added a bit of water, and I was getting more and more of those as you were naming them off, particularly like the fruity notes. Larry White says, "Show the bottle." I actually don't have this bottle. We have some.
I don't either.
So another one of our team members has his bottle, and the reason being is that because our whiskey is, in terms of numbers, very, very low quantity comes to the U.S. So we just try to save as many bottles for our members as possible. So it's not always the case that I have one of the bottles we'll be tasting. Then I think you have some of the other ones. So we'll show them. So our apologies for not doing this one, but it's cask 6.34 called Bundles in Temperance. And what we'll do, after this tasting, just to make it easy for you guys, I'll go back, go through the stream, and I'll put in the comments below, or actually the caption, the full list of casks and the timestamps in which we've poured them and tasted them. So you guys can always go back for reference. But it's cask 6.34 Boundless in Temperance. I like that name.
Yeah, I do too. Shall I read the tasting notes?
Go for it. I mean,
it's like my favorite part. It's like reading a story. Like I love to read stories to my kids, so I'm really into it. So any opportunity I get to read you a story,
there are no rules, so we're just.
You ready? All right. So cask 6.34, a buttery and oily nose at first. That's spot on. It is buttery. Lots of flapjack, honeyed oatmeal, softwood spices, fragrant earthiness, wood polish, soft wood. Oh, I'm skipping. Lime oil. That's probably that citrus zest we're getting. Light waxiness and sheep wool. I haven't tasted that yet. Sheep wool. Anyone? Sheep wool?
Yeah, I don't pick up that myself.
I haven't tasted that yet. With water, there's chip fat, mown lawns, sawdust, mustard powder, sandalwood, inkwells, umami paste, hay, and fermenting lemons. To taste this one is full of clay, mineral oils, soot, corn flour, bitter mints, caraway, rosehip tea, green pepper, wildflowers, mint chocolate chip ice cream with notes of fruity chewing gum, fruit salad chews, ripe banana, sunflower oil, vanilla essence, wood spices, hot cross buns, and blueberry muffins. I mean, that's pretty spot on. I mean, I'm getting a lot of pastry, a lot of lemon, a lot of citrus zest. So I'd say that the notes on this are pretty, for me at least, pretty spot on.
Yeah, I think obviously they're subjective. We all have different palates, but I think a lot of those I pick up. But I think what's interesting, what the tasting notes don't cover is the texture. The overall texture of the whiskey, I think, is really probably for me the standout element of it. I think it's fantastic. So
I'm all about mouthfeel. So, and this one has a great one. It is definitely oily and just buttery. It's kind of that melted butter feeling. That's this.
Let's Drink Whiskey says, I prefer alpaca wool myself. You, sir, have come to the right place. Or ma'am, I don't. Let's Drink Whiskey. I just made an assumption. But either way, good shout. Isaac says, pour in some 10.180 Western Rhone to join in the tasting. I thought that was a fantastic whiskey, Isaac. I was really into that. Picked up a bottle myself. And I'm sorry, I'm going backwards, guys. We'll try to move through. We have a lot of whiskey to taste tonight, but I want to kind of catch up on the comments. Jenna, do you want to go to the next one? What do you
want to cruise through those? Yeah, for sure. All right. So up next, we actually have a grain whiskey, which I'm very excited for because it's not every day you get to taste something like this. This is going to be G8.11. So I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
This inverted thing is weird.
No, that's good. I can see it. Yeah. So single grain, 30-year. I see 30. So the big 30 is a 30-year.
Yes. So this is a 30-year from a lowland distillery, and this is called Sweet Remedy, which is what I think we all need right about now. Is a sweet remedy of sorts.
Well, Let's Drink Whiskey needs some alpaca wool right now, but I'll take the Sweet Remedy.
All right. Get that in the glass. So I'll show it to you one more time. Sweet Remedy, G8.11. And this is at 61.2% ABV. And this is in our spicy and sweet flavor profile. And there were only 202 bottles of this to go out into the whole big old whiskey world. So this is a treat. So also refill hogshead ex-bourbon on this. So I'm excited to taste it.
Are you into grain much? I mean, yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, you're not. Okay. It's
but
different.
You know how important grain whiskeys have been throughout the history of whiskey. I mean, they've really been the backbone of an industry. And I know that I have a distillery favorite that can do both grain and single malt under one roof, which malt whiskey under one roof, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I can't say that I'm super into it. What about you? Are you?
Yeah. So I mean, grain obviously very different from malt, and I came into this really as a malt sort of enthusiast.
Right.
The profile, the flavors of malt whiskey tend to really sort of just mesh well with what I like. But I gotta tell you, more recently, and as recently as like the last 6 months, I've been turning my attention to some of these older grains. You know, grain whiskey is right now better value, just in terms of accessibility. So you can get, you know, like this one, a 30-year-old grain for, I mean, if it was malt, it would just be a bit more out of reach for a lot of us. And so, you know, access to really old whiskey through grain is phenomenal. And I think the profile really does take a bit more time to sort of evolve. But anyway, so long story short, I'm like a new convert, you know, admittedly, I haven't always really jumped on that train, but
well, this could be what, you know, this could be my gateway whiskey into, you know, grain whiskey. So
cheers.
Cheers. Very perfumed nose.
There's like one whiskey on the table, like it was Richard Patterson. Ooh.
Whoa.
So 61.2%, which is, you know, hand sanitizer level at this point.
Yeah. This almost is like, can you explain this to me? I'm gonna have a hard time translating this because this has really caught me off guard.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the grain, you know, think about like with grain whiskey, obviously the way you're making is very different from malt, which is done in a pot still. So with grain, you're using a column still. So the birth of the spirit, if you will, I think is fundamentally different. It also tends to sort of land in a higher proof off the stills. But I think the backbone of all of this is the texture variances aside, coming from distillation, the flavor is fundamentally different. So this is more like think of a popular grain whiskey here, bourbon. You know, American whiskey is predominantly grain whiskey, and so it's a bit more heft on the nose for me, but it's got sort of a tropical-esque profile.
I was gonna say rum.
You get that rum. Yeah,
it does have like a rum cake. It's almost like liquid rum cake. That's why I think so caught off guard, because I wasn't expecting to get that kind of flavor from, you know, something that's just been sitting in ex-bourbon. It was just so different than what I'm used to. So yeah, that's really interesting. Does anybody have a grain whiskey that they are into or that they dig? Or
Tom says, did anyone enjoy the G8.10? So that was a popular one. That was actually one of the, and it was this past year in January that they sort of got me onto it. G8.10. This is the follow-up G8.11. Mon says, is it too early to taste on the West Coast? You tell us, Jenna. Is it too early to taste on the West?
It's not.
Jenna's in LA, so you know, I think we'll follow her lead on that one.
Yeah, this is wild. Definitely not what I was expecting.
Yeah, and I love, like, it's pretty rare to experience this. I mean, but the combination of 30 years of maturation with such a high proof of ABV of 61.2%, like those two usually you don't see that on the market a lot. Like when you walk into your local whiskey shop, you want a 30-year-old whiskey. Most of them are sort of just reduced down to make sure there's many out there as possible.
Right.
To see that high intense sort of delivery is fantastic for me.
I've actually tasted an older whiskey from this particular distillery elsewhere, just in my whiskey journey, and it tasted nothing like this. It was a little lackluster, so to speak, but this is wild. This is just blowing my mind. I
don't think they're going to believe us when we keep saying that these are all amazing.
I promise I'm going to be on my roof after this is over, like screaming to my neighborhood that they all need to go buy this whiskey, because this is just beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. It is literally liquid rum cake in a glass. That's the best way for me to describe it. But I will happily read the tasting notes.
Please, I mean, let's go for it. Yeah.
Okay. So G8.11 Sweet Remedy. The nose portrayed the spirit of exuberance that defied this whiskey's age and delivered to us a bountiful supply of apples, pears, gooseberries, and pencil shavings. Vanilla pods and caramel wafers combined with sugar cane to bring a sweetness that followed onto a sticky and buttery palate. Then raisins soaked in rum. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Poured over us like a shooting ointment. Oh, a soothing ointment, not shooting, soothing ointment with waves of walnut oil, melted butter, and teasing spice. With waves, we basked in the tropics amidst bananas, guava, pineapples, and passion fruit while sipping fragrant rum agricole. With patience, the flavors opened fully to reveal cinnamon and nutmeg grated over white chocolate and custard, whilst sweet wood combined with icing sugar on a lengthy and tranquil finish. Well, there you go.
Well, the rum soaked raisins, was it? That one really shines through. I mean, it does have that. Man, it's tough to do these live on YouTube sometimes. I really want to just turn off the lights and cut off all noise. And I will do that after this and really kind of get into these a bit further because I'm really tempted. This one is very evocative and just like draws you in.
Yeah, this is unlike. I've not had a whiskey that tastes like this ever in my whiskey journey. This is a first for me. I've not had anything quite like this.
Yeah, so G8.11. G was at G8.10 we released in January. This is fundamentally different. If you guys have had that one, that was a bit more earthy. This is a bit more tropical and lively.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't remember the ABV on that last one. The 61.2% on this really carries through, and adding it was phenomenal.
Abundant, yes. So I highly recommend this.
Yeah. So guys, so Tom Smith is in the comments. Tom is senior director here at SMWS America. Tom is also responsible for putting the outturns together every month. So when you get the email tomorrow and you see the full selection, you can all just comment at Tom Smith and give him a hard time if you don't like anything, or praise him, because I think it's a really good selection.
Yeah, he nailed it.
I think you guys know Tom, and if you're on the East Coast, Tom hosts a lot of our tasting events, if not all of them, out there. So I know a lot of members have met Tom before in person, but so.
Yes, thank you, Tom, for putting this together. This is special.
So I want to pull up the next one, and I want to just ask too, if you guys, I'm trying to catch up on the comments here too, but something I'm just curious about. What, if you don't mind, just sharing, what has been your favorite society whiskey so far? And I realize choosing a favorite is an impossible task at times, but I'm just kind of curious to know what members are enjoying. So as we go and Jenna introduces the next one, if you don't mind just commenting below and just letting us know what has been sort of the benchmark moving forward. And then I think that helps us to understand as we're releasing new selections to know what members are into. So
do you have a favorite society whiskey?
That's okay. That is wise to turn it back on me. No, I don't. And so, and I would say, okay, damn it. All right. You got me. So, there was an old 35 that really stuck out a few years back, in Chenin Blanc. I love French oak typically. We had, the 3.305, I want to say it was, which is I'm so in the number. I'm the numbers I remember the past numbers. The names don't always. The sense of perfection was one that was
the
3.305. I think it was. Tom will know. Whiskey and title says 93.106 and 93.114. Two Campbelltown whiskeys, obviously. 66.138 deep, rich, and burnt fruits. Wow, yeah, okay. So 1.213 seduces and invites fantasies. I love that name. Seduces and invites fantasies. Just had it with lunch. Nice.
Tasty as hell was great too.
Tasty as hell. Nice. All right.
So let's move on to the next one, which is a 12-year Speyside, and this is in our spicy and dry flavor profile. And this is called Playing Golf's All About the Lie.
Ooh, I like that one.
I'm not much of a golfer, so I wouldn't really know, but this is bottle. There you go. So this is, again, a 12-year Speyside refill hogshead ex-bourbon. This is at 57.1% ABV. And
So, okay, playing golf's all about the life. It's funny, first time tasting this whiskey, but I am curious to know where that name came from.
yeah. Do you play golf? Are you a golfer?
I swing the sticks. I'm not very good at it, but I really enjoy it.
Okay.
I took a year off last year. I broke my leg, and so it's been a while, and I kind of miss it. But every time I go to play, I get excited, and I realize I'm not very good at it. It's not ideal for really tall people, high center of gravity. Anyway, we'll save that for a few drams down the road. But anyway, cheers. What do you think?
Yeah, cheers. Butterscotch.
Ooh.
I'm getting like Werther's candy.
Oh yeah, it's very strong.
Just totally just liquid Werther's.
Yeah, a little bit of like a charred caramel for sure. Well, caramel,
Yeah.
that is Werther's. You're right.
I just relate everything to dessert because I love sweets. So it's an easy connection for me.
It's funny. I want to go back to the last one just for a reference because this is so different.
Very different.
A bit of charred wood. What's the cask on this one?
Sorry. This is 55.58.
Yeah, no. So refill hogshead. Okay, yeah.
Hogshead. Yep.
It's interesting. There's like a sort of a charred wood influence. Who knows what the char level could have been in the cask, but
Definitely on the palate. Yeah, you do get that
you
char.
You got that?
Yeah, you can definitely taste the char on the palate.
Ooh. So spicy and dry flavor profile.
Yeah, which I like. This flavor profile I think is probably one of the most surprising for me. Like I tend to stick to oily and coastal is by far my favorite. Those are just my favorite whiskeys. And I love young and sprightly. I love that flavor profile. But the spicy and dry is always very surprising. Because I don't think until I started drinking society whiskeys how much I realized I actually enjoy a dry, profile on the palate. I never thought of whiskey as being dry when I first started getting into whiskey. And that wasn't ever like a term I used to describe whiskey, but the more I drink these, the more I'm learning and the more surprised I am by them. But this is fun.
Yeah,
fun.
It's crisp. Like it's like a crisp sort of like have you ever had like a really dry apple cider or a hard cider?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard. Wait, cider is hard, but anyway, I don't know. I'm trying to think of hard cider is the marketing term, but yeah, but like a really, really dry crisp cider it's like succulent,
Yeah. That's a good term. Very crisp. I like that. It's like that apple cider you get from Starbucks in the fall with the whipped cream on top.
What? You do? I've never heard of that before.
What?
No,
yeah,
I've never. Wait.
That's like my favorite thing to get from Starbucks is their hot apple cider with whipped cream on top.
All right. I might need to steal some Starbucks tips from you after this, but
this is it.
I don't want to steer you guys into the cider tasting. Next month we'll be doing a cider tasting here with sprinkles and whipped cream. I don't know. I like cider, so we'll get into that later.
I'm down for that. Let's do it.
Karen asked what the ABV is. Do you mind showing
Yeah,
me?
so ABV is 57.1%. Again, this is 55.58. Playing golf's all about the lie. And this is a 12-year Speyside in our spicy and dry flavor profile. And I'm happy to read the tasting.
Yeah. I'm so curious about the golf.
Yeah.
Just
let's see if it has anything. Oh, here we go. So we imagined being on a woodland golf course. None of the panel members present actually play golf. Having just faced a heavy downpour, we hit a 7-iron at a par 3 hole, and the ball went straight from tee to cup without touching the ground. Even the sun came out to grace the occasion. To celebrate, we had a seriously Caribbean-style dry, spicy ginger beer. So maybe that's your cider, your beer. With a drop of water, a fizzy, freshly squeezed orange juice called Orange Spritzer appeared on the nose, whilst on the palate now some sweetness of marzipan and shortbread. To finish, bitter orange liqueur and ginger marmalade.
Oh,
I gotta try it with water.
The ginger note, which is I think pretty common with spicy and dry casks in general, but like that's very prevalent. That charred wood sort of has gone away since I added some water, though. What do you think? I mean, what do you think with it?
Let me add some water.
Yeah.
I really like that though because the chard gives it almost like a grilled pineapple. You know, you get like that sweetness, but then you get that kind of grilled element about it. Let's see. I'm actually finding that the char comes through more, that the spice level is brought down with water and the char is more upfront for me with water.
Yeah, and I added water a second time. I don't know the AVB now, but adding more water brings out more of sort of a malt sort of character. Yeah. Like there's more cereals that come out. I got caught up. Jason Coates dropped a phenomenal clickbait here with what do golf and politics have in common? See the name of the current dram. I get that. So well played. It's all about the lie. Anyway, I thought that was funny. It was a very classic, great YouTube moment right there, Jason.
Tom's giving us some. Oh, everybody's asking about the Starbucks cider. Yes, there is apple cider, warm apple cider from Starbucks. So make sure you ask for that.
I mean, hopefully, you guys, everybody, if you're watching this, I mean, those of you who are, you will hopefully learn something about whiskey today. But I have to tell you more about cider and Starbucks, and I'm pretty. I'm not affiliated in any way, but I'm pretty excited for next autumn.
Yeah, I got all kinds of, those little tricks up my sleeve. So anytime. Tom said, big part of Dewar's and Lawson's blends, elegant and fruity. Yes, this is definitely has an elegantness about it. And I know this particular distillery has very long fermentation times, like in the 70 to 80 hour range, I believe. So
yeah, so
that's a fun fact.
Yeah, which generally would make for a fruitier whiskey, but I think with this particular cask, it's sort of like the cask has really influenced the spirit a bit, Yeah. And are you getting I'm just curious, are you getting that Werther's note
on the palate?
Yeah.
No.
Still, it's gone for me, right?
Yeah. So that's more of just the nose, that liquid Werther's, and then palate is that gingery, like char. It's like a grilled pineapple. It's like sweet, but you get that little charred aspect of it. So yeah, this is a fun one.
Yeah, I think of the three of these, this one evolves the most with water, from like neat to water. Like its flavor profile has changed the most dramatic of all these three. So if you're probably like us and you like adding water and experimenting and exploring the evolution, yeah, it's pretty prevalent with this one.
Yeah, this is a good one. So all right, so we have two more.
We have two more, yeah.
So you said that your favorite society was a 35.
Oh, I see what you did here. Is that what we have next? Yeah.
And Chenin Blanc?
Yeah, but that's not this one, right? No. What?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me look this up. Well, what you introduce it first? Let's see.
Yeah, go ahead. So the next one that we're going to be tasting, I've been researching, is 35.245, a conversation piece. We lost Ben, so now it's just me. And this is a 16-year Speyside and a second fill barrel, which I'm almost positive is
bourbon barrel.
This is bourbon?
Yeah. Well, Chenin Blanc is typically matured in a barrique,
right?
But I'm guys, this is off the cuff, first time tasting. So it says here, second fill barrel, number 4 char, in a 24-month air seasoned oak with new toasted heads. So I'm noticing here, like the color. This is what
did you read the Did you read the tasting notes?
No, you're gonna read them. So guys,
okay. I'm sorry. I don't want to spoil the surprise here.
No. Well, I mean, I think we should introduce it as it is.
Oh my gosh, the color on this.
Yeah, so this is, oh man.
That's beautiful.
So, all right, I'm intrigued.
Okay, I'll let you taste it and then I'll read the tasting notes.
Is this a trick? Is there a trick here? Like, I feel, right, 35245, a conversation piece. This is the best conversation piece.
This is going to be the conversation piece.
Yeah.
You're so good at like dissecting a whiskey base. You know, you could just smell something or taste something, and you know, you're a genius in that way. So
yeah, that's raw oak in there. You know, like it's so subtle. It has a bourbon like quality to me right away. I mean, look at the color is just so aromatic. This is phenomenal. Really, there's an aroma that I do not know the actual word to describe it, but I just use the color violet. It has like this violet type of aroma. It's just electric. And again, I'm struggling to find the word to describe it. I haven't really gotten a better one, but what do you think?
This electric's a great word to describe this. It makes your mouth water.
Okay.
So what do you think?
Wow. So straight off the bat, there's a lot going on.
Very special.
Curious to hear you go first, because I think you're picking it up, and
this is incredibly elegant to me. This is a very distinguished, elegant whiskey on the palate. Syrupy, just completely mouth coating. There is like a little dry element to it at the very tip of your tongue. But I mean, this is like deep and rich and just, I hate the word sexy, but this whiskey is just so just moody and it's beautiful.
Yeah. I love the word and I love the descriptor because there's a lot going on. I think it takes you out of your current place, which is, I think, what
for sure
I about a whiskey. It is very, I mean, I think we're struggling with tasting notes on this one. I use the word violet, and I think Whiskey Untitled called me out for tasting or nosing, at least in colors now, which I am. But it's very evocative, and there's just so much to it. There's like a sensuality, you know, and
yes,
it really, yes. Like your favorite, well, maybe not your favorite, but one of your.
It is my favorite. Yeah.
135.1 sensual sensory sensation.
That's my favorite society whiskey of all time.
Which we first tasted really hungover in Vegas one morning or afternoon, maybe, after the worst hangover ever.
That was.
Little did you know that would become one of your favorite whiskeys ever. Anyway.
So that was a Vegas trip.
Yeah. So what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, unless you're an Instagrammer, then it all leaves Vegas. But
yeah. So anyway. Yeah. Yes. So this is, again, 35.245, a conversation piece, 16-year. I don't know. Sorry, it's like kind of washed out.
Yeah. Deep, rich, and dried fruits is the right profile. Man.
All right. I'm going to read the tasting notes now. So 13 years in a Chenin Blanc Barrique.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
In 24 months in a designer barrel that has given this an amazing auburn to amber color, which is true. The color's so beautiful on this. The nose is certainly unusual. Ginger beer, curiosity cola, rose hips, pomegranate molasses, cherry brandy, and polished leather. I can see the leather. There's definitely like a leathery element to this. The palate shows powerful wood impact, tongue tingling, and mouth drying with damson bramble and red currant, dark chocolate, tree bark, and licorice root. With water, the nose finds cedarwood, black currant leaf, and rum and coke. The palate, dry, intense, bitter, and delicious. Orange boxes, mandarins in syrup, marrons glazed, sprinkled with ginger, wine gums, red laces, and sugar-coated fennel seeds. And this is at 54.9%.
I can't believe you guys did this to me. Wow, this is amazing. So interestingly, for 13. Okay, wow. I didn't. I asked you guys your favorite.
That's for you, Ben.
It's not my favorite. Okay, there are a lot of society whiskeys that it's hard to pick one, but that was just the early ones really stick out. And for me, that was one of the first ones. Tom, who's in the chat, I met Tom. He knows this one. It was back in October, like 2016 or 17. It's 2017. It was released. It's a 13-year-old. And so this sounds like this was, as time has passed, a similar cask that has then been transferred for 24 months into a second fill I like that designer barrel.
Designer.
Designer meaning that it's sort of a custom with new toasted heads. It's very atypical that you would find
It's
in
a
natural
goofy
production.
cask.
Wow. So it's that with my old love with a bit more maturity behind it, and with a designer dress.
Yeah, there you go. This
Wow.
is the bougie version.
That was yeah.
This is really though. This whiskey is like this is like a great gift whiskey. Like if you want to gift somebody, like a really nice, really elegant, beautiful bottle of whiskey. This is really stunning. I don't know how else to really describe it. It's exquisite. It's just decadent and sensual on the palate. This is a stunner.
It's so okay. I gotta add some water, man. This is.
Oh yeah, I guess I should do that. I should stop talking about it and add some water.
It's so funny because I really was leaning towards sort of the toasted American oak like notes that I was picking up, but as you go deeper and deeper, it's that sort of sensual fermentation character, you know, of sort of grape fermentation. That's
and this I think this distillery is a sleeper. I don't think people should sleep on 35s. I'm a big fan of just them in general, and they have a brilliant woman at the helm, and I'm a big fan.
I'm so happy right now. I'm so happy this exists. Like I didn't. Oh, I'm gonna get emotional. I have half the last one left, and there's no. It's so hard to find anything in Chenin Blanc. We had one that was double matured with a short period of time in Chenin Blanc last year, but 13 years in that sort of break is just so unique, and I think so amazing that I'm kind of at a loss for words.
I love that. It like ripples on your palate, and it's very just again elegant and just decadent, and then you get that dry little bite at the very tip of your tongue. There's like a little dryness there, and I actually think it comes out more with water, but I love that. It's just like a roller coaster, on your palate, because you're getting so much stuff happening.
I don't want this to end.
Ben doesn't like this whiskey, obviously.
I don't want this to end. I'm so sad it's going to end. I literally have not. Anyway, we can move on. I have to tonight. I have to have my own little moment with this whiskey because tomorrow I have a feeling that it's going to move pretty quickly and I'll never see it again. But anyway, there will be more. There will be another day, new day, new whiskey. So.
All right. Do you want to maybe address some of the? We can go through the comments.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Have your moment.
Yeah. You go ahead. Yeah.
Trying to think where we left off. Tom Olaf says, I assume that by designer barrel, it's Glenmorangie's Ozark oak barrels used similar to what they use in a Star. Oh, I don't know what designer. I don't really know what designer barrel means.
Well, a designer barrel is essentially, I mean, different coopers will offer the chance to create a custom barrel. So in this case, it was one with toasted, what was it, 24-month air seasoned oak with new virgin. So I would just presume, use staves and then virgin oak heads. And so you can customize. I mean, coopers allow you to customize third-party coopers, not on-site ones. And I think Olaf mentioned something about Glenmorangie. I'm not as familiar with the Ozark barrel. I've seen the marketing where they go into the Ozarks and through the forest, but I don't know the breakdown of actually what was done or what was used for maturation. So that's the name of the designer.
I'll take it. Isaac asked, so how much time did it spend in Chenin Blanc? 13 years.
Yeah.
Right? 13 years. And
then 2 more, and then 24 months. But it's bottled as a 16-year-old whiskey. So it must have been more than 13 years, barely. So.
And then Mike starts asked, do they write the tasting notes, pick and snicker among themselves when people take them seriously?
I don't know if we're taking them seriously, but I don't know. I'm into them.
I love that because when I take like actual tasting notes for myself, sometimes I'm like embarrassed to read my tasting notes because they're just like a little weird and out there, and just because I relate taste to memory. So when I taste a whiskey, it just kind of opens up like this little Rolodex of memories, and I try to place what I'm tasting to some thing that happened in my life. So I really appreciate these kind of crazy, lofty, fun tasting notes. I think they're a lot of fun to read. Clearly, that's why I'm begging you to let me read them.
Yeah.
All right. So ready for?
Yeah, I think so. We have one more whiskey.
One?
I just to mention you guys, just as a little. First of all, we appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this. It seems like based on the feedback that you want us to keep doing this, and well, I have to say we're going to be doing a lot of these moving forward because we're all here at home. Tomorrow is also a special. We have like all of our whiskeys are pretty special, and I'm really struggling with this lineup to really figure out which direction I personally am leaning. The last one was spectacular, but the others were great. But tomorrow you'll see. Just so for everybody, since you're tuning in, I'll give you a little heads up. We have a cask coming out. It's 1.215 called Formidable Chocolate tomorrow. It's not on this tasting lineup. We're trying to save every bottle for members. It was a recent gold medal winner at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition, which was just a month ago now.
Yeah.
So we made that announcement a couple weeks ago, roughly. And so we're releasing it tomorrow. So cask 1.215. It's always fun to see Distillery 1. Obviously, being Distillery 1 was the first distillery we've ever bottled a cask from. And of course, the fact that it's nice. We submitted a lot of whiskeys. We won a lot of awards at this competition, but this is one that I think is to go pretty quick. So heads up, 1 p.m. Eastern. All these whiskeys are coming out tomorrow, including 1.215 Formidable Chocolate. So look out for that one. I've heard amazing things. But I cannot, because it's so rare, we've saved every bottle for members, so I don't have one myself.
I have a whiskey I want to shout out, if it's okay.
Shout them out, yeah.
Okay, great. So let me find it. Okay, so if you're not a member of the society and you would like to be a member of the society, on our join page on our website, smwsa.com, we have a bundle that you can do a membership and a bottle. And one of the bottles that is part of the membership is this, which is Blondie Bombshell, which is 95.32. And I love this whiskey so much.
Yeah. What do you like?
It is the most vibrant, bright, just chaotic whiskey I've ever had on my palate. And it's at 66% ABV, and it doesn't drink like 66% at all. It is, I actually gave this to Jarrell to let him taste it. And he's bourbon all the way through. And when we creep up into these higher ABVs, he kind of is like, oh, I don't know, I got to get the Tums. And, he's just, it's not, he's learning now. He's like, oh, what ABV is this? And I'm like, oh, you're spoiled now. But this one does not drink like a 66%er. It is just the most fun. It's in the young and sprightly flavor profile, which is one of my personal favorites. But I'm sorry.
Yeah, just want to 95.32 Blondie Bombshell. So look, so if you guys aren't members, I know a lot of you are, but if you aren't considering joining, there is a special when you pair a 1-year membership with one of 3 different bottles. So that's one of them. That's one of them.
Yes.
I think that one. There's another. Well, actually, both the other 2 are fantastic. One of them I also really enjoy. The second one, 59.59 Spock's Earwax.
I have that somewhere.
You have that one too?
Yeah.
We're totally getting off track here.
Yes, we are.
But both of these, when you pair with a membership, you get a special deal.
Yeah, and they're both worth mentioning because they're a lot of fun. And that
one. Do you mind showing that one? I just want to see that. So that one's that one's fantastic. Quirky name. I think people really got into that when we posted those up. But we just changed off all our new membership bundles the other day. So that's a new one.
Yes. So those are on our website. If you want to be a member and take one of those home, you won't be disappointed. That 95 is spectacular. So anyway, getting on to the next whiskey, the last whiskey. You actually have the bottle for this, right?
Yeah. So, we initially talked about doing 4 whiskeys. We thought, hey, look, you can't do a whiskey tasting without a little bit of peat at the end. And, for everybody who tuned into our Virtual Vaults kickoff last Friday, Jenna, you were raving about the peat. So I'll introduce it, but I'm curious to kind of just pick your brain on what it is you enjoy about it. But this is 53.310 Kippers and Slippers.
Kippers and Slippers.
Forgive me, I'm turning around I'll show you guys the bottle. Is that clear?
Yeah.
10 years old, refill hogshead ex-bourbon. This is an Islay whiskey. It's the only Islay whiskey we're tasting tonight. 60.7%. And, 10 years old, when it comes to Islay whiskey or peated smoky whiskey, younger whiskey tends to be what a lot of, peat, I don't want to use the word peat heads because that's a popular one, but people who enjoy peated whiskey go for the younger style. I like older style as well, but it's something about the young, punchy. Look at this. I just poured it. It's like clear almost.
Yeah.
I love this natural clear color, sort of like a Chenin Blanc. But I didn't pre-pour this one because it just takes over everything. What do you think?
The more people I talk to that are really into peat, I've had a lot of people mention that they do love younger peated whiskeys, that you just get a lot more, character in a younger peated whiskey than an older one. So that's always, nice to hear. I think there's so much to discover in young whiskey.
This is like better than the strongest caffeinated drink you would get at Starbucks, even cider. I mean, it just absolutely wakes you up. The phenolic content is so intense. Like the peak just protrudes through the glass, up the nostrils. It just clings onto any sort of nose hairs. You may or may not have.
Today, they just no, I'm kidding.
It just like electrifies the nasal passage, and it's just fantastic. It's not for everybody. It took me a while to get it, but what do you think? I'll show the bottle again.
So I find this to be, there's a sweetness about this.
Yeah.
It's like sweet peat. I'm trying to think what that is. It's like, are you getting any sweetness on that?
There's I get this, it's odd because I wouldn't expect this, but like a vanilla icing type of note with a lot of like peated whiskeys from Islay. Those are really good. The grain is really sweet. I think that's what it is. It's not sweet like a really fruitiness, but it's just
not fruity.
Relative to what you would expect was a really intense smoky whiskey, which it still is. There is a nice sort of gentle blanket of warmth, like over all of it. And it is that sort of that grain, like the maltiness and the natural sugars of the grain, I think, come through.
It's like a milkshake, like a peated vanilla milkshake.
I appreciate that. Tom is providing all the cask info. So just in the comments. So 53310, 10 years old, 60.7% hand sanitizer. Islay whiskey is so people love it. I mean, people love a lot of whiskey right now in general, but Islay whiskey tends to be moving pretty quickly. There was a time once back when we were probably a lot of these available, and it's coming rarer and rarer, which is a bummer because I think these are just fantastic.
It's very creamy on like the back of the palate. It's got good mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Sweet, peat, almost like I'm almost getting like a buttered popcorn.
Yeah. There is a buttery note. Let's see what else is everybody else saying. So George says 53.269. Hospital Juice is my first SMWS bottle. George, I remember that. I think you posted that on Instagram. Yeah, that was fantastic. You like that Hospital Juice one, generally.
I like that. Yeah.
And what else is going on? Christine loves Pete, and
thank you, Christine.
Coming about PC5 is full character. I agreed on that one too. Coffee and toffee notes, some tobaccos. I'm jumping around trying to follow the conversation, but I think that's relative to Pete. I'm on that. Not getting much. Tom says, please use vodka for hand sanitizer. I mean, yeah, you probably don't want to use this. I would probably save every drop to drink myself. But yeah, so.
Yeah, this is a good end cap. This is like a peaty dessert whiskey for me. There is like this. Kevin's asking if you think that this is sweet, in your opinion.
Well, I think it's relative, right? Oh, that's so intense. So, whoa. That was like an ashtray, that last sip, in the best way possible. But I mean, it's sweet. If you look at all the whiskeys we've had so far, I would say it's not that sweet. But compared to other Islay whiskeys, or other peated whiskeys, there is sort of just like a warming characteristic. I don't know that it's fully just the sweetness, but it's just well-rounded, and it's not as off-putting as I think. Maybe my first impression, like nosing it, was that, whoa, this is intense. It's like filled the room. But as I got into it, I was like, oh, there is a sweetness here that is pretty welcoming. So yeah, so I don't want you guys to think that it's because you'll probably make your sort of ordering decisions based on, you know, kind of our opinions as well as others. I don't want you to think that it's really, really sweet. It's not, but relative to other intense whiskeys, there is a nice, you know, pleasing, you know, warming characteristic.
It's like a vanilla sweet. It's like not like a cotton candy or like a super like artificial tasting sweetness. It's not that kind of sweetness. It's more of a vanilla rounded sweetness, if that makes sense. At least for me.
Damn. So that was wow. That was a lineup. I mean, so do you want to recap for everybody? Just I mentioned I'll put below once we get the replay up.
Yes.
Give me a few minutes. We'll go through and we'll put up the in the caption the actual cast and the timestamps for each one. But yeah, give us a rundown if you don't mind.
Yeah, so we did our first one up was 6.34, which was Boundless Intemperance, and that was a 12-year Speyside. And that one is our light and delicate flavor profile, which we found both to be a little more explosive on the palate. And then we went to G8.11, which is Sweet Remedy in our spicy and sweet flavor profile. And that was this one. And this is crazy. This is just cake in a bottle. It's magic. Yeah,
that was wild. Like really, really good character. And that was I made the comment on that one that, you know, traditionally I'm not a big single grain drinker, but I've been into it lately, and that was one of the better ones I think I've had. Oh, period.
It's stunning. That whiskey is stunning. And then we had 55.58 in our spicy and dry flavor profile. That's Playing Golf's All About the Lie at 57.1%.
Which was the one that I think that we said evolved. It was the most, I mean, it was a lot of fun. I thought I had a lot of fun with it because it evolved a lot with adding water. So I think anyway, I think that's its role in the lineup.
Yes, this was the most surprising, I think, in just this flavor profile is you always think you're just going to get something that is just straightforward and spicy and dry, but it can be so much more than that. And then we went to your new favorite.
Well, I don't know that's my favorite, but I was really caught off guard.
Ben's new favorite, 35.245.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say it was my favorite because then it's to be gone in tomorrow. I mean, I just, in essence, I think it probably would be on paper. It looks appealing too, but I just want it to last forever. And
yeah, this is elegant and sensual and just a absolute stunner of a whiskey. This is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
So again, 35.245. And then we capped it off with 53.310, which you have the bottle.
Yeah, 53. Kippers and Slippers is the one, which is the peat bomb. And I mean, I think it's classic Islay. It's as advertised is what I would say. It's what you want from Islay. There is a bit of a sweet note. It doesn't take away from the smoke, but I can't see anyone who is into Distillery 53 or just peated Islay whiskey in general not saying, oh hell yeah, you know, that's as advertised. Sure. So and so anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was our first digital Outturn preview tasting. I have to say we'll be doing more, and just to kind of keep you guys in the loop. Obviously, as a club, we do things a little differently, which is pretty much we're an open book with everything. And you know, last Friday when we were doing this, you guys were talking about, hey, we would love to taste along with you, doing this as well. And so tomorrow we'll be releasing a new Outturn, and in that we're doing something a little special that we're going to try out this month. We'll be releasing 3 different bundles, which are sets, mini collections of 3 different whiskeys. And we've broken them out into different regions. We have sort of a Highland bundle, a Speyside bundle, and then we've kind of just done a general coastal bundle, but three in each one. And so with each of those whiskeys, Jenna and myself and our colleague Zach will be hosting online master classes live as we are right now, tasting these whiskeys. So those are the schedule's up on the website right now. They're planned for I'm trying to think. Oh, it actually starts next week. So if you guys are interested, we'll mention that in the email tomorrow too when we send out the Outturn. But you'll see. So with each of those bundles, you're welcome to join us for the tasting. Pop up with the corks with us. Taste in advance ahead of time. But we'll be doing those starting next week, so you guys at least have a chance to join us and maybe learn a bit about them, along the way.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Do you know? Do you know what bundle you're hosting? Which masterclass? Or
that'll be broken out too. So I'm doing the coastal one. You're doing the highlight one, right?
Highlight.
Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because you had an affinity for. We try to break them out based on sort of personal experiences this time around.
And there is, I think, one in there that is near and dear to my heart. So.
Yeah. We don't want to give anything away, but yeah, I think anyway. I hope you guys enjoy it. Obviously, we invite you to participate, and if you're ordering bottles, it's just an added way to sort of just bring this tasting experience home with you. But other than that, give us feedback. We'd love to hear what you want to see from us. I see a lot of comments saying, "Hey, do this more often." Right now, we have planned to do this about at least 10 times. I want to say this whole month of April. So things like this we'll be doing, and if there's other things you want us to see or to taste. Or to help educate, we're here for that. So
yeah, please let us know. And tomorrow with the Outturn, you're more than welcome to give us a call if there's anything that you want to order. It'll be myself, Zach, or Ben, or Brianna answering the phone. So please pick up the phone and give us a call, or you're more than welcome to order them online. But there's some really fun whiskeys coming out tomorrow, so make sure that you set your alarm and watch for that email.
Yeah, man, I'm more excited. I gotta. I won't. We try to not compete with you guys. If there's a desirable whiskey, we leave it all to members. And it's funny. I think we've all downgraded since we started working for the company. You would think in our bottle accessibility, but we want you guys to be able to enjoy the whiskey first and foremost as members. But there are a couple here that I think I really want to pull.
I know. I have a little list written here of things I'm going to watch.
Yeah. Oh, you guys get first dibs. Go for it. And if time goes by, I'm just hoping some survive. We'll see. Anyway,
yeah, this was fun.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining me, and thank you for everyone else for joining in and chiming in and just being here. So this makes quarantine, a little bit better for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Right.
Cheers.
Yes. Cheers.
Slanjava.
Slanjava.